Hello and welcome to another video from inzara.com. Before we get started with this video, I want to talk about a couple of things. So first, I want to thank everyone for subscribing to this YouTube channel. We have reached 20,000 subscribers in this past week. I am deeply thankful to everyone who have subscribed to this channel and placed their trust in our videos and our solutions. I look forward to providing you with more value in the future. The second update I want to provide is if you have any questions that you would like me to cover in my next videos, please post them in the comment section below. We are trying to get a new video out every Tuesday, and it's going to be about the different Excel templates. But in between, if you have any Excel questions that you would like me to address, I'll be happy to take them and do my best to answer your questions. So please post your suggestions or questions in the comments below. Now let's get started with this week's video. This week, we're going to look at a property rental receipt builder template. This template can be used by property owners if you have multiple properties or apartments or homes or condos or any properties that you are renting out to tenants, and then you are receiving payments from those tenants, and you want to issue receipts acknowledging the payments back to your tenants. You can use this template to manage those receipts, and you can have a printable receipts that you can export to PDF as well from this template, all in one Excel file, and you can use it for any number of receipts, and this will save time and also keep all the data organized for you. Now let's first go over the features of this template, and then I will cover step by step how you can enter data into this template. What you're seeing here is a sample file which you can download from inzara.com, where you can see the data. I've already entered some data in this to illustrate how it works. So let me go through the different sheets now. In the settings sheet, we enter the basic information about our property business. So this is our business information, and then you enter the payment modes. So we have given possibly 4 different payment modes or methods, so you can type whatever your payment modes may be. If you have check, cash, other credit cards or Paytm or any type of payment method that you are using to receive the payments, you should enter them here. Now let's go to the property sheet. This is where you will enter the list of properties. So if I have 21 different properties that I own, I will enter all the 21 here. I give a unique name to each property, and that's key here because this is something that we will use later. So make sure that the name is unique, and then we can give an address to each property and also a description. You can also add other columns if you would like to document other things about those properties. Then we go to the agreements tab. This is where we have our rental agreements. So for example, I will give a unique agreement number. So let's say 1. This agreement is with this tenant named Adams for the property cottage. You can see that all of our 21 properties are listed here. So you will just choose which property is this agreement for with the person Adams. And then you will enter the rental rate, and you can also define the period. So you can define $700 per month, or you can do $200 per day or $400 per week. So there are 3 different period options, and you can enter the rate amount that you agreed with the tenant here. You can enter the tenant's contact information here as well, and you can enter any number of agreements. So let's say, for example, the same tenant, you are renewing the agreement for the following year, you will enter a new agreement number and then enter that information accordingly again. Then we go to the receipt list. This is where you have your complete list of receipts that you want to issue, or after you receive a payment from a tenant. Let's say, for example, on the 5th of January, I've received a payment from a certain tenant, and the agreement number was 1. So if you remember that we had 3 agreements entered in the agreement sheet, so the agreement numbers will be listed here. You can choose the correct agreement number for which the payment was made, and then you will enter the payment method or mode that you received the payment. So in this case, let's say check, and then the payment reference number is optional. You can enter, if it is a check, if you want to enter the check number, you can, it's optional. And then the key required things are, what is the duration or the period for which you received the payment? So let's say, for example, 1st December to 31st December, I enter them here, and then the amounts get automatically calculated. So if this was, instead of December 31st, if it was for 2 months together, and then you'll see that the amounts automatically get updated. Let me undo. You can also enter an adjustment amount. If you have a late penalty or something, late payment penalty that the customer didn't pay on time and you want to add, you will just add that, let's say $50 late payment penalty, and you'll see that the final amount is $750. Let's say in case that you want to reduce the amount for some reason, you want to discount, then you will enter -50, and then now it'll become, the final amount becomes $650. So you can adjust the amounts to arrive at the final amount that you want on the receipt. Now, every payment that you receive, you will then enter them separately as each row in this sheet. And that is your data entry. Now, when you go back to the receipt sheet is automated, and so it's readily available for you to print whenever you need it. So let's say, for example, I choose to let's say I go to the second receipt. So I just type 2, and now automatically everything populates, and I have to just go and do file print or file export as PDF. So I can export it as PDF and send it to my tenant that this is your receipt. You can also print, and then you can also put your signature if you're printing, and then issue that printed copy to your tenant as well. If you don't want your signature, click on it, just delete, it goes away. So it's very, very flexible for how you would like it. There are also some additional customization options. So if you don't want the cents part of the amount, you can just choose no, then it'll automatically only show the dollar amount in the description, in the currency description here. And if you want to call it, if it's not dollars for you, if it is something else, no problem, just change the currency and then it'll update here. If you want to change the currency on the amount itself, just choose this cell and then this cell. These are the only two cells where the currency amounts are shown. So you can just go and change the currency for whatever your currency is, then it gets updated. So if I want dollars, that's all I do. And if I don't want decimals to show up, I do this. So it's very, very flexible and customizable for your purpose. Let me undo, go back to the default. So now that's basically how you can create any number of receipts on demand whenever you want it. The benefit here is also that you have all your receipts information stored in this one file, so you can come back and look at it anytime for reference if you need. It's all well organized. You have all your agreement information, all your receipt information, and you can print and export as whenever you need. So one thing I would recommend is always export each receipt as a PDF from the receipt sheet and then keep it for your records. I know you will be sending it to your tenant, but you'll also keep the file in your computer, in your cloud drive, OneDrive, wherever you store your files, so that you always have as a copy if in case you need in the future. So that's how you use this template to manage your rental receipts. Now, let me go and open a blank file, the blank template that you can download from inzara.com, and I will walk you through how you can enter the data into this template step by step. So now I have a blank template. So you can see that the business name is still there. You can overwrite that business name with your information. And then the shipping address, you can enter addresses in multiple lines by just pressing Alt Enter. So for example, if I want to write 123 ABC Street, and then if I want to move that to the second line, I will just do Alt Enter, and now my cursor goes to the second one, and I can do the city name, state, zip, and then hit enter. So that's how you can enter the addresses I think in this template, we don't really use the shipping address. You use the billing address, but if in case you have them separate, you can just store them here. Now let's move on to the property sheet. So in the property sheet, by default, this is what you will see, but you can enter your own information to begin with. So let me just keep the property ID as 1, or if you have your own numbers, you're welcome to use, let's say I do 234 is my first property ID, and I give a name, my blue home, and then I can enter my property address just like I was explaining before. I can put the street name, city, state, zip, and then I can enter a description of my property, home located next to a lake. So now we can go into the agreement sheet, and then now we can enter the different agreements that we have. And again, the number could be anything, but make sure that it's unique. So let's go with number 1 is the first agreement, and then the name of the person could be Adam, and then the property name automatically comes from the list of properties that we entered in the previous sheet. So I only entered 1, so it's my blue home. If I go back to here and then I create another entry here, my red home, and then I can change this to let's say 458 Street, and then home next to the city center. And then now I'm going back here. So now the property name list will list 2 things because I have 2 properties now, and I can choose which one. So let's say in this case, I'm choosing my blue home, and I am entering a 700 rental amount per month. So if this is 700 per week, I will just choose week. If it's per month, I will choose per month. And I will enter the email address and contact information. I'm not gonna take the time to do this in this video, but those are pretty straightforward. You can enter the contact information for this tenant. If I have my second agreement, so let's say I goes to, and then this agreement, I may choose, another person who may be, let's say Claire, and then the property name could be Red Home, and this time it's 500 per day, let's say. So I enter that. This is how you can enter the agreements. Let's say a year goes by, and then Adam, you're renewing the agreement with Adam, and then you would have a new agreement number. This time, Adam, again, it's the same blue home, but this time you may increase the rate if the rate has to be increased or decreased. Anyway, you will just enter it, and then now that becomes your new agreement with Adam for a different time period. You can enter that time period if you want. So this was for maybe 2019 agreement, and this is for 2021, or this could be 2020. So this is something that you can store for your tracking purposes. And then the receipt list is where we will go ahead and enter the receipt. So by default, everything is blank, but let's go and create our first receipt. Once again, the number is unique, needs to be unique, but you can choose whatever format you want. For simplicity, I'm just choosing 1, and then I will then have to enter the date of the receipt. So if this was for January 5th, 2021, I enter the date, this format, and then agreement number. Since we have 3 agreements, so the first time, for example, the payment from Adam, I received the payment from Adam, which is the agreement number 1, and then I received it in, let's say in your country, the payment method check is spelled differently. I know that in the United States, it's spelled CK. So I can change it here in this sheet, and then when I come here to the receipts, now I can see that the check will be displayed this way. So now I can give, if I want to enter the check number, I can, but otherwise I'm going to go ahead and say this is for December 1st to December 31st is the period for which I received the payment, and you'll see that it automatically calculates 700. And this is because this is a monthly agreement. So you can go back to the agreement sheet. You will see that this was a monthly agreement of 700. If for example, if Adam paid me for half the month, so I can go in and say, December 15th. So Adam, for some reason, paid for 1st December to 15th December. It automatically calculates 338.71. So even though the monthly is 700, it's prorating it. So we can check that and say, okay, if the monthly is 700, there are 31 days in December. So each day is worth 22.5. So now if I have 15 days that Adam is paying for 1st December to 15, that's counted as 15 days. Now 15 times 22 point something is 338.709. We round it to 2 decimals, so 338.71. That's how the template will auto prorate. If you have different periods than the agreement period, it will automatically prorate it for you. If you go a month and a half, it will still, for example, if Adam is paying for December and half of January, roughly half, then you will see that it automatically updates for that period. So template will do the work for you in terms of calculating the actual amount. So let me go back to the monthly to keep things simple. Now you will see that there is an adjustment amount. If I want to give a discount in this case, or if I want to maybe put an additional penalty for late payment, I can enter the adjustment amount. So once you enter the receipt of the payment amount here, then you go to the receipt sheet, and now by default there's nothing here, but you can type in the receipt number whatever the receipt you want to print. And since we started with the receipt number 1, I'm going to just go 1, and now you'll see that it automatically populates the receipt information for rent, at which address, what's the amount, who did we receive it from, when was the receipt date, where's the address, how did the tenant pay, by check, for what period, what was the agreement term. It was 700 per month. It was received by, in this case, received by me at this address, phone number, signature. If I don't want the signature, I can press delete here and it'll go away. And then if I would prefer to change the currency here, so I click on these two cells and then I can go in and then do currency, and now it'll do this. And if I don't want the decimals to show up, I can do that here. But now that I have a receipt, and I can now go and file print or file export to PDF and then save the PDF for record keeping. That's all you do for one receipt. And now you can come back in if you have another tenant making a payment, or if Adam made a payment, let's say I'm going to do February, Adam made another payment. This time the payment was by cash, and this time I'm actually going to choose agreement 3, because you remember that agreement with Adam now in 2021 has changed to 750 per month. So if I choose 3, and if I choose a period here, let's say for January 1/31/2021, now you see that it's 750 because I have a new agreement for 2021 and it's 750. So it'll pick it up correctly because we give a different agreement number for that agreement. This is how you can manage, ongoing agreements. When the agreements change, you just add an agreement and then the calculations are taken care of for you. And this is also giving you a great record keeping of all the receipts that you have ever given, all in one Excel file. And you can print anytime when you need, you can export it to PDF anytime when you need. All is handled in just one Excel file. That's what I believe this template is designed for. I really look forward to your feedback on how and if this template is actually useful, and also how we can make this more useful. Please provide your suggestions and comments. I look forward to hearing your feedback, and I'll see you all in the next Tuesday's video with another Excel template. Thank you very much for watching.